So Palm Beach is going to come with this series of support brackets that look like this. We're going to attach these brackets to the top of the frame, roughly 12 inches from each side, and then also one directly in the center. We want to use as many support brackets as come with the unit. So in this case, we got 3, so we're going to go ahead and install 3 of them. This unit can get pretty heavy. When we put a lot of weight on the top frame of this shutter, sometimes it can start to bow towards the room. We put these support brackets on top to keep it nice and tight against the wall and to give it a lot of extra support. And if you can see here, there's a channel that's in the Palm Beach frame itself. The channel corresponds to a screw channel, and that's where all of our installation screws for these brackets are going to go. So now that we know where the screws are going to go, let's go ahead and place the brackets in position. They can really only go in one position. We'll try to center this one as best as we can. All right, so let's move over here to the left side. Like I said, somewhere within a foot of the corners is just adequate. Move over to our right side and we'll have this part buttoned up. This is a track support spacer. When I put this frame together, there's a gap created right here. This support spacer goes right in there, so that way when I drive my screws down through and I attach my side frame to my top frame, it keeps it from buckling the frame in here. So on this one, we go to our standard installation screw here. The standard installation screw also requires us to have a number 2 Robertson drive. There's already a pre-drilled hole in the top frame here, so it should be very clear where this goes. As this goes through, we want to make sure that our spacer block is in the right spot. And now we'll go ahead and lock it in place there. So we're going to repeat this process on the other side. All of our bifold track systems have the same type of hardware. It's actually kit 4532, and what comes in that kit is a snubber that goes on one end of the track, a pivot that goes on the other end of the track, and then the carriers that are used come separate. So the first item that we're going to put into our track is the pivot bracket. We're going to slide the pivot bracket into the frame and just kind of leave it loose for right now until we determine its exact location. Next, we want to make sure that we have one carrier for every 2 panels. In this instance, we have a 4-panel shutter, so we're going to install 2 carriers. The most important thing actually to remember is you want them both to be at the same height. So if the heights are slightly off on the carriers, go ahead and make an adjustment to them before you put them in. All right, so we'll put our 2 carriers in. And after that, we're going to go ahead and locate and install our snubber. So in the IOC, it's going to tell you we want to mount the very center of our pivot bracket 1 5/8 inches in from the very end of the track. We're going to go 1 5/8 inches to the very center of my pivot, which is going to be right there. I'm going to go ahead and use our wrench, and we're going to tighten this thing down. We're going to come all the way down here to the side that has our snubber. So I have an installation hole for the track that's right under here where the snubber is supposed to be. So I'm just going to kind of leave this loose. It's very important when I'm installing the track that that screw is installed. Let's snug it down just a little. And that's it as far as the hardware that's required for a 4-panel bifold track system in Palm Beach. So the bifold unit that we're installing today for Palm Beach has a full bottom track. In our hardware came this bottom pivot bracket assembly. This needs to be located a very specific distance from the edge of this track. We mounted our top pivot 1 5/8 inches in from the end. We want to do exactly the same thing here. We want to mark 1 5/8 inches from the very end. I'm going to make a mark right there. And I've got a couple of installation screws. They're just little Phillips installation screws. And we're going to center our hole right at 1 5/8 inches and install our screws.